David, how are you?
I'm good, Maurie. How are you?
I am well. Oh my God, I've wanted to meet you forever. I've loved you in Sex and the City, and now I can say I love you in Chicago Fire. I've only seen one episode, but this show has me hooked.
Oh, good. Wait till you see some more, because it keeps going. It really does. We've been building on the first episode really, really well, and bringing out the characters more and bringing in some more situations and incidents. And it gets scary and gets crazy and it gets funny, hopefully. You never know what's funny until people laugh, actually. So I think what we did was funny.
Now, how much of this is real? Like, is there green screen? Is this real fire? Like, how much is real?
We don't have any green screen on this show. Everything that we do, it's real in the sense that they're real fires, but they're contained propane based fires, so they're turning on a big gas tank behind us, but it's getting hot. The sweat, 90% of it is really real, and the dirt is about 95% real.
But hang on, if 90% of the sweat is real, what's the other 10% of the sweat?
Oh, them coming in, they put glycerin, they dab glycerin on your head, and it doesn't dry up. And sometimes if you get shut down for we get shut down for an hour and a half, and you maybe have taken your gear off, you kind of dry up a little bit. But most of the time, we're sweating our behinds off. How risque is your show?
We're very risque.
Oh, okay. Right.
Say whatever you want to say.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay.
We can beep anything.
Okay,
we're not
good,
live.
good. Okay, good. All right, good.
So, how much research did you have to do to go into this? Because it looked, when I was watching Chicago Fire, it looked so real. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
They basically shot us out of a cannon, and the first day we got there, they dragged us down to the fire academy, and the first thing they did was take us to the Hall of Heroes, which is in the history of the Chicago Fire Department. It's about, I think, 500. I can't remember the exact number. I should know the number, but 535 men and women that died in line of duty, and you see that first, and then there's a gravity to that, and they have bronze boots out there for some of the people that didn't make it out, and you get that gravity, and then they start taking you in, and they drag you into a smoke room, and they light up a bunch of wet straw in a bucket, and it gets dark, and they can't see, and then they go, now take off your mask, and then you start hacking and coughing, and your eyes start watering, and your nose starts running, and they come around and they say, what's your mother's maiden name? And you go, it's a Goodman. And they go, now spell it. And you're like, I can't spell my mother's name.
I can't even believe what that was like. I mean, I can't even do well around a campfire.
Oh, you got some matches?
Building fire.
Got some matches?
Well, I'm not into like pyro. What do you call it? Pyrotechnics or pyromania?
Pyromania.
Yeah.
A little pyro. Are you up here too?
Yeah.
That's on?
Yeah.
Oh, so
I'm just wearing it for my health.
Do people know you wear this?
Of course they do.
Really? Do you wear this around your house?
No, I don't.
Do you get naked and take a shower? Or you take a bath at home and you're
Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you the truth.
Come on. I would wear that around my house. My wife would be like, she'd be whacking my head though.
Well, fair enough. That's why you're wearing the helmet, right?
Yes.
So now that you've done this and you filmed some episodes for Chicago Fire, you must have so much more respect for people who actually do that. Like, are you showing up at fires like pretending to know what you're doing? Like, are you an expert now?
I'm certainly not an expert, but I know a lot more than I didn't know a lot when I came into this. I didn't know that smoke is flammable.
Oh.
Did you know the smoke?
I had no idea.
It's unspent fuel. And that's what happens. That's what one of the big dangers. Like they always break the windows, and all that stuff, and they pop a hole in the roof and they let the smoke out. And you think let the smoke out so people can breathe. That's part of it. But the biggest thing is if you get a lot of smoke in a room and you get it hot enough, that smoke will ignite, and that's what they call a backdraft or a flashover. And
like the movie Backdraft. Now I finally know what that means.
Exactly. They didn't explain it very well.
No, clearly not.
Even De Niro couldn't explain it. But right here, Dave Eigenberg, the idiot, explained it. But yeah, so that's what it is, and I just didn't know that, And the colors of the smoke tell you a lot. Black smoke and brown smoke, and it tells you what's burning inside. Whether it's like all these houses, you got couches in every house, and it's all that foamy stuff, which is just like it'll kill you. When that burns and melts, and the smoke from that.
So we should live in like a room with nothing. That would be
exactly
safe.
No clothes. And no furniture and no walls. Actually, we just go back to nature.
Yeah, then it's safe, right? Well, trees are flammable. We're screwed.
Oh, that's right. You're right. But we would all be naked.
What is with you and nudity? I love this.
I don't know. I'm just kind of a naked way today. I got a lot of clothes on. Let's see.
Now, is there decision making in this? Because if this was real life and all I was thinking while watching Chicago Fire is you have to make decisions. If there's a cat, if there's a baby, so it must be hard. Like if you show up at a real fire and you have to choose between a cat and a child, what are you going to choose?
You choose the child. I know it's confusing for you, but the first thing you do is you get the child. It's, you know, there may be some people really mad at you about the cat, and that's really sad in its own way, but we put human beings first. We put people first, and there is a conflict sometimes because firefighters sometimes put other people before themselves, and the thing is, at what point do you make sure that your men are okay? And there may be somebody else in there. Somebody say there's somebody there, but you can't get to them. At what point do you know, there are situations, and it's a rarity, but sometimes you have to pull out. You have to get out. You have to pull out. Sometimes you
That's
have to
what she
pull
said. So here's the thing I'm loving about this show is we're finally, it's the first episode, but we're going to see progression in your character. I mean,
Yes.
where we leave off in episode 1 is that you have no money. You're getting kicked out of your house. I hope I'm not ruining this for anybody. But there's development in your character.
And yes, there's development. They developed me, and they found me.
But it's not just some firefighter. There's a story.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, we all kinds of. I love my story. And yeah, and things are going to develop, and you're going to find his family, and we have some financial problems. Which did the housing collapse hit here in Canada? It didn't hit as bad as it did in the States.
No.
Yeah, because your economy is sound.
Yeah, we're great.
You guys are intelligent. We're just like absolute mental deficient people in the States. And I know
Sorry to hear that.
That's true, but. You watched the debate last night?
No, I watched X Factor.
Oh, there you go.
And
but we have some problems down in the States, and a lot of people lost their homes. And before the show, I was in some financial trouble myself, so I can relate to it. But the character, he gets kind of gets upside down in his house and loses his house, and we get to meet his family, and you know, and those things follow, you know. And it's like when you're doing a first responder job, you know, a community service, you're serving your community, you can make a good living, but sometimes if you got a big family, you can have a lot of bills, and so I do some side jobs, like a lot of firefighters do side jobs. And the shifts in Chicago are 24-hour shifts, so I don't know what they are in Toronto.
This is why I'm going to love Chicago Fire. It's
Why?
because like I can attach myself to the characters. It's not just some show where they battle, you know, crime and then sad music and credits. Like this is why like I loved watching the only episode I watched so far, and that's why I'm hooked. Like it's you can attach yourself to the characters. It's fantastic.
There's some stuff coming up that's going to really grab people. I know that. I know some really stone, cold-hearted people, and they read through one of our scripts that's coming up, and nobody survived it without squeaking a tear out. Oh, wow. It gets really intense, this show.
So this is by Wolf Films, Dick Wolf. We all love him from Law and Order, one of my favorite shows, SVU, Things I Would Do to Mariska.
Yeah. Right.
Will we
Mariska, come here. Mariska, let me talk to you for about a moment. I just worked with her. I worked with her a couple months ago. I played a doctor with a beard. And
Finally, one degree to Mariska.
There you go. I played a doctor. I cut off women's legs for them. And I was helping them out.
You were in the garage, and you had them all over the wall.
All those really cool
I'm
pictures.
A fan. Yeah, not really cool, but yeah.
Oh, those pictures were really cool. They were really perversely attractive in those pictures. And I was like, I have a 3-year-old. I was like, I would so try to get one of these pictures, but they're just wrong.
Yes, they are.
They're just
Will
wrong.
we ever see like a Law and Order Chicago Fire crossover? Put that in the suggestion box, dude.
All right, well then we're going to come back to you and we're going to credit Maurie. I don't know how you crossed. I guess they crossed over Baltimore and New York, didn't they? Because they brought what's his name up from Baltimore. I guess.
Well, here's what you're going to do. So there's a fire in Chicago.
Yes.
You see a woman who is trapped in the fire.
Yes.
She's naked. Clearly she was raped. You don't have an SVU division in Chicago. You need to call New York's SVU. Done.
Hey, guys. Do we have an SVU unit here in Chicago?
Don't.
Oh, man, all right. You know what? We did. I know Mariska Hargitay in New York. I'm going to call her. And, man, she's hot. Maybe she'll get naked with us and take a shower.
See, we've written this.
There you go. It's the whole show, man. She is a really, really attractive woman.
And she's just fantastic. Like she's really
she's down and cold, cool.
Nice.
She's very cool.
Now, I have to talk to you about Sex and the City because one of my favorite shows,
All
obsessed with, still watch the reruns. They're on all the time here. With the movies and stuff, will we see Sex and the City 3, still sexing?
I'm going to tell you, I never believed we were going to make the first movie, and I was wrong. The second movie I thought was going to be great, and people didn't like it so much. And my gut feeling is that we'll never make a third movie. But considering I've been wrong every single time, we may be making another one. I don't know.
Would you want to do a third movie?
I would love to do a third movie. I love being with the girls. I adore them all. So they're good girls, and we have an amazing crew, and every time we get back, we've almost the entire same crew. And we're always show back up and go like, here we are again. And there's a lot of smiles and a lot of hugs and a lot of love, and it couldn't be better. So we have a lot of laughs on that show. We got a lot of laughs going on in Chicago Fire, and you can't beat it. So.
And you have a Razzie, which I think is fantastic. And you actually showed up to pick up your Razzie. Why would you even do that?
Because I'm a non-award-winning actor, and it was the first time they offered something to me, and I said, I'm coming in. I won a SAG award, or Screen Actors Guild. They gave a best ensemble, like, I don't know, for the TV show, like, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. And then, like, 2 years later, they gave out statues. But when they started doing it for ensemble, they didn't give statues. I got a certificate, like, to hang on my wall, like I would put it on my wall. And I didn't get a statue. So then I called them up and I said, that year you did it with us, you weren't giving away statues. Can I get a statue? And they were like, oh, hang on, we'll get back to you. And they called me back and they were like, no, you didn't do enough episodes, because I only do like half the shows. Oh. And I was like, you're kidding me. So I didn't get a statue. So the Razzies called, and I called them up and I was like, I'm coming in for that. They go, really? You'll come in? I was like...
Well, you're the second one to do so, because Halle Berry showed up for hers.
Yeah, me and Halle Berry and Sandra Bullock. And I think Joe Esterhaus showed up. There's only like 4 or 5 that have ever been picked up. Me being the least recognizable of all of them.
And where do you keep the Razzie?
It's in my garage, in my office in my garage.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's on the shelf. It's really cool. It's a bunch of modeling clay with little like beads that your aunt, like Phyllis, would wear, broken and stuck on, so it looks kind of like a pineapple looking thing. They spray paint it gold. They take like an old canister of Super 8 film. They spray paint that gold. They stick like a little stick in it with like a fake piece of green. They put like a cheap plaque on it. That's I'm like.
You sure your kid didn't make this for them?
Kids, it's like a child made it. In fact, when they gave it to me, they had a rubber band around it because the base, the metal thing that said Dave Eigenberg and the ensemble of Sex and the City, worst cast of 19 or 2000, whatever it was, and the label wasn't sticking to the can, so they were like, we left the rubber band on until it sticks and stays. So,
oh my God.
And the rubber band is still on it, because when I take the rubber band off, the plaque starts bending straight.
Well, I'll tell you this. The performance in Chicago Fire, I'm seeing Emmy.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm a non-award-winning actor. But
well, just remember where you heard that.
You are the first person that said that, but I think you're a little crazy.
Chicago Fire on Global. People have to tune in. It's awesome.
Please tune in. It's a really wonderful show. It'll warm your heart. It'll make you laugh, make you chuckle, and have the experience of a good night.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Good night.